This is the Checkpoints, hosted and co-authored by Zurab Pololikashvili. And myself, I'm Georgi Sakadze. We are here in 4th Georgia office and we have set to tell you more about business and economics.
It is Sunday, 10 p.m. and we are about to summarize a week that was full of the events that have a major impact locally and globally. The most important thing for me personally was that the Grand Chamber of the European Court of Human Rights announced the verdict of the 2008 Russo-Georgian War. The European Court of Human Rights has agreed to Georgia's request, violating several articles of the European Convention of Human Rights during the August 2008 war. The court asserted that since August 12, 2008, strong Russian presence and the South Ossetian and Abkhazian authorities' dependency on the Russian Federation indicated that there had been continued effective control over South Ossetia and Abkhazia. This comes from the European Court of Human Rights.
Indeed, Elena, indeed. Another important fact is related to UNWTO and its elections, because its Secretary General, a Georgian, Zurab Pololikashvili, was re-elected for the second term and will have a chance to globally respond to the pandemic, which is the heaviest burden on international tourism to this day. Addressing the Executive Council in Madrid, Pololikashvili said, "Together we have laid the foundations for tourism's recovery. As we move into 2021, let us keep working closely to make our sector a leading generator of opportunities across the globe." Zurab Pololikashvili stated.
Very good news for Georgia and for BMG specifically, by the way. Let us remind our viewers, in late July 2020, a memorandum of understanding has been signed between Business Media Georgia, BMG, and the UNWTO. Business Media Georgia is one of the leading sources of business news, not only in Georgia, but in the entire Caucasus region. Therefore, we are glad to start this cooperation. This is the first time we are signing this kind of friendship in the region. We wanted to physically sign this memorandum in Georgia, but I'm sure that in the middle of September we will be in Georgia and hold one of the most important events of the post-COVID period, which was held, by the way, which will be held in the format of a ministerial and will be attended by delegations from about 35 countries. It is symbolic that Tbilisi will host a dialogue on the future of tourism. Zurab Pololikashvili, then Secretary General also of the UNWTO.
Maybe you should visit Marrakesh. Next Executive Council going to be held in Morocco. Yeah, I've been already updated while personally congratulating Mr. Secretary General. It's our honor. Congrats Georgia and congrats Mr. Pololikashvili again. And let me reiterate the words that I have said while signing memorandum online, by the way, due to COVID. I still believe that the memorandum for Business Media Georgia and its team to cover the World Tourism Organization, not just the guidelines and ongoing news happening, but also the values that the World Tourism Organization serves.
And before Zurab Pololikashvili sits down with the checkpoints for the new interview, Anna Tavadze made a short profile of the Secretary General of UNWTO, which we can watch together.
And we might sign another MOU before that.
Last week, Zurab Pololikashvili was re-elected as the World Tourism Organization Secretary General for the term 2022-2025. Pololikashvili, who has made himself available for re-election for a second term, scored 25 votes as opposed to his opponent from Kingdom of Bahrain, who scored 8. Zurab Pololikashvili was first elected Secretary General of the organization back in 2017. During his management, the biggest challenge for tourism was the COVID-19 crisis. Before the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, tourism stood at an all-time high. Jobs worldwide depended on tourism, and international tourism arrivals reached 1.5 billion in 2019. Against a backdrop of heightened uncertainty, under Pololikashvili's leadership, UNWTO gathered the heads of the sector in the Global Tourism Crisis Committee to guide the tourism sector as it faced up to the COVID-19 challenge, recommending policies for recovery of the sector and cooperating closely with World Health Organization. Tourism sector was the worst affected of all major economic sectors. Pololikashvili took this crisis as an opportunity to rethink tourism development. He believes that recovery must involve transforming the sector, reinventing tourism destinations and businesses, rebuilding the tourism ecosystem, and innovating and investing in sustainable tourism. Pololikashvili has guided the sector, releasing recommendations for action and giving health advice for tourists. Moreover, as an UN agency specialized on tourism, UNWTO has released frequent travel restriction reports, as well as regular analysis on the COVID-19 impact on tourism. Back in September, on the Executive Council 112th session held in Tbilisi, Pololikashvili spoke to BMG about new initiatives in the field of agro-tourism and upcoming efforts put in reviving tourism in 2021.
In the post-pandemic period, this was the first representative meeting where ministers and officials from Georgia, as well as from other countries, met directly. We had many interesting conversations. We will do everything in our power to gradually restore tourism and open borders. Before the pandemic started, we had declared 2020 as the year of agricultural tourism development. Unfortunately, we could not implement these ideas and projects after March. We used this period effectively as we wrote about how the government and the private sector should help create new tourist destinations or develop existing abandoned tourist destinations. We are going to implement this project on a very large scale. A large investment fund is already being set up, headed by Saudi Arabia and the country's Minister of Tourism. It will be an independent investment fund that will contribute to the development of villages around the world.
Under Pololikashvili's initiative, UNWTO continues to establish global initiatives that aim to strengthen tourism. Just a couple of days ago, Forbes Spain named Pololikashvili as the person of the day after he announced that UNWTO will organize a world forum in the fall of this year, which aims to turn Madrid into a tourism Davos. Pololikashvili believes that Spain, which is the second most visited country globally and with a large part of its revenues coming from this sector, will maintain the 2019 trend in the future. If we take into account the data of the first 3 quarters of 2019, we believe that Spain will maintain the path of recent years. Revenues are crucial for the country and the economy, and Spain is well positioned in this regard across all segments of visitors, Pololikashvili said. During his mandate as Secretary General of UNWTO, Pololikashvili has advocated for tourism as a significant player in delivering sustainable solutions for people, the planet, prosperity, and peace. He has centered his efforts in supporting measures to restore tourism from both governments and the private sector through partnerships and agreements with a special focus on innovation, education, and digitalization. As the world continues to watch him, Pololikashvili puts new plans into action to, in his own words, strengthen the sector, empower people, and provide a chance to have a stake in their own societies, often for the first time.
We are BMG. Follow and subscribe for business and economics news.